What is up to all of the good people all across America and all the good people all across this world? Matthew here. So, I've got like 17 days before I close on my new house. And finally, for the first time in my entire life, that I get to have the life that Matthew wants. You know what I mean? At 5 years old, my father and another police officer took me to commit my first felony, and it was just cemented in life that I was going to be a criminal, and I didn't think I had any choice. And in the end, I ended up being exactly what my father and even my mother, you know what I mean, and this world built me to be, which was a criminal. And I worked for the better part of 30 years with Mexican cartels and other organized crime groups. And I walked away from that life in 2019. And I shut everything down and I walked away. But anyway, so back in 2010, I haven't been with a woman or had any human contact whatsoever since 2010. And the reason why was because in 2010, I was down in Tijuana and I ended up sleeping with the first and only prostitute in my entire life that I've ever slept with. I've always been like totally against it. And the way that me and this woman met, it was natural. You know what I mean? She was a young Mexican woman, and we ended up making love. And after we were playing around, and I grabbed her underneath her breast, and all of a sudden, a drop of milk came flying out of her breast and hit me in the face, actually on the lip. Yeah. But when that happened, I was just like, what the fuck? And I asked her in Spanish, I said, did you just have a baby? And she said, yes. 6 months ago, she had a little baby boy. And when she said that, my heart broke. My heart was just, what? No woman. She explained to me that is the reason why she started selling her body to support her son. And it broke my heart. I was like, no woman should ever have to sell their body to support their child and to survive. And that's what goes on in this world, you know, especially on the border of Mexico, Tijuana and Nogales. And there are men who just, you know, American men who just cross over, you know, not just American men, but men in general, you know what I mean, who just use these women for their bodies with no thought whatsoever. And yeah, that solidified the reason why I don't sleep with prostitutes. And if I could have, I would have snuck that woman and her child into America, not to be my wife, you know what I mean, not to try to own her, or you know what I mean, just so she could have a better life for her and her child. But unfortunately, I didn't drive across the border. I was in anyway, it doesn't matter. But I just wasn't in a position. I ended up giving her as much money as I could, as I could get out from the ATM machines out of my accounts. And yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, after that, I was like, what have you become, dude? What? Like, you just violated one of your strongest, you know, a code that I believed in. You know what I mean? I violated. And even though like we met in a natural way and it wasn't, she actually solicited me. And I told her, I said, listen, no, I don't pay for sex. You know what I mean? And it was, you know, it is what it is. But it was still, looking back, I should have, you know what I mean? I should have brought that girl to America. Either that or move to Tijuana. You know what I mean? Because, you know, that woman, like most dudes would sleep with that woman and then judge that woman as a whore. That's how most men are. But me, hell no. That woman would have made the best wife in the world because she would have appreciated a good man that, you know what I mean, would have treated her well and took care of her and her child. You know what I mean? I could just feel it. Her energy was perfect. But anyway, so after that, I was like, I gotta fix myself. You know, you gotta understand. I worked for the cartels, and I wasn't in the cartel, but I moved their loads. I used to manufacture, opium to morphine, morphine to heroin, and yeah, I used to do a lot of things. And looking back, I was a very, very damaged human being. But I knew it. I was like, you know what I mean? I don't want this life. I don't want this life. You know what I mean? And I was so damaged. I knew I needed to work through everything that I had been put through in this world. You know what I mean? By my parents and by all the sick predators of this world when I was a child, and police officers that hogtied me and beat me because I wouldn't submit to their will. You know what I mean? I always treated them with respect, but because I wouldn't bow and kiss their asses, and you know what I mean? They hogtied me. 3 cops hogtied me and beat me, unconscious, and woke me back up and then beat me again. And then they threw me in the rocks of the front yard of my mother's house when I was 14 with blood coming out of everywhere. And, another time, 3 cops locked me in the back of a 170-degree cop car. I'm 47 years old, and at 47, I've been in 3 high-speed chases. I've been locked up in Mexico twice. I experienced all sorts of violence down in Mexico and in Phoenix, Arizona. During the times that I was locked up in Arizona and in Mexico, I was fought against other dangerous prisoners like I was an animal. Like I was an animal by the guards over and over and over again, with no care or concern for me, the well-being of me or my family. And I've been dead twice. One time, I was dead for somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. And it sounds unbelievable, but I'm sure if, I was to pull my medical records from Arden Hill Hospital, where I was on a cardiac unit for 3 weeks, it would clearly say, I'm sure my father had told them exactly what occurred, and I can only go by what my father said, a man who never lied to me. I was a heroin addict, and I always told them, listen, Dad, if I pass away, please just let me go. And after that happened, and I got out of the hospital, I was genuinely upset with him, and I said, what the fuck? I told you to let me die. And he said, I did. He said, you were dead for over 30 minutes. He said, I didn't even call the 911 for 20 minutes after I found you dead. And it took them another 20 minutes just to arrive. And then it took them time to even get you to revive. So I was dead somewhere between, a minimum of 30 minutes to 50 minutes. And when I came to, the cardiologist said, hey, buddy, welcome back. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is you're alive. The bad news is you have utterly destroyed your heart. And I remember I stuck my hand on my heart and felt it, and then I felt the pulse in my left wrist. And he's looking at me. He goes, no. He goes, believe me, you've destroyed your heart. And he went on to explain, when you die, your body starts decomposing, and your heart, it sheds. So you start decomposing, you shed enzymes, and your heart sheds its own signature enzyme. And he told me, we have never seen a living human being ever with heart enzyme levels at the levels that you have in your blood. You should not even be alive right now. So they kept me on a cardiac unit for 3 weeks. 3 weeks I was on a cardiac unit. And the more time that went on, the less they would say to me. So I was like, I'm dying. You know what I mean? I'm dead. And at the 3rd week, finally, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Will somebody please talk to me? And the cardiologist tells me, listen, we're going to run one more test, and then I will let you know. And they had done ultrasounds of my heart 2 times a day. They did 2 nuclear stress tests, and they had already done 1 barium test where they make you drink this white stuff, and they do an ultrasound or a MRI of your entire body, of your stomach and all that, and your GI tract and your heart and your, all that. And they wanted to do a second one of those. And so after they did the second test, and that stuff's disgusting, dude, having to drink that stuff, it's so nasty. But anyway, the next day after that test, I met with the cardiologist, and he says, Matthew, he goes, I don't know what's going on here. He goes, you are either the luckiest human being that has ever walked the face of this earth, or somebody is looking out for you. because your heart is 100% perfect. It's perfect. You know what I mean? True story. True story. I'm sure that cardiologist is still alive and can attest to everything that I'm saying. But, yeah, 13 years I haven't been with a woman, and I love a good woman. You know what I mean? I love a good woman. But the thing is, you know what I mean? Like, I've paid my dues in this life. I've paid my dues, and like, I won't settle for anything but the best now. You know what I mean? Not that I expect perfection, but I won't settle for a woman that, you know what I mean, doesn't want the absolute best and to be the absolute best human being they can be. You know what I mean? In this lifetime, a warrior. You know what I mean? And shit, I don't even know. I might marry 2 women. You know what I mean? I've had it like that before in the past. I had 2 women that were, and it was the most beautiful relationship that I had ever been in. And it wasn't perverted at all. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't put expectations on life, but yeah, I have a lot of things I need to accomplish. And because of that, I don't know if I will always be there. So it kind of makes sense for the life that I'm going to have in the future. And you can judge me all you want, and you can think, oh, you know, that's no. It wasn't perverted at all. It was the most loving, caring experience that I ever had in my life. And to those 2 women, I'm not going to say your names, TT, thank you, man. You guys saved my life that night, because I was seriously ready to eat my own gun. And that was God. I mean, I'm 110% convinced that was God. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. But yeah, man, I sit here and think, dude, like, and I mean this with all respect, but like, I love a good woman. And I don't mean this in a perverted way, but I just think of the things, you know what I mean? Like, that I'm going to give the next woman that I'm with, and she's going to love me so much that it's going to hurt, you know what I mean? That it's going to hurt in the best way, in the absolute best way. And it is what it is, you know what I mean? I paid my dues in life. I've paid my dues. I've worked through the most horrendous things that I would never wish on another human being. You know what I mean? I've worked through them all alone, 110% by myself, while everybody was dumping their problems right on me with no care or concern for me or what it did to me. And I came so close to just eating my own gun. And I'm not saying that like, you know, please, poor me. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm the type of human being, I don't cry out. No, but that's exactly where I was. About to eat my own gun and just end it. Every fiber of my being was screaming, end it, Matthew. Just end it already. End the pain. I was on fire for years. 5 years straight. 5 years straight. I was in a motorcycle accident of 2019. Bedridden for 10 months. I quit the cartel in 2019. And then I still had a shitload. Anyway, let me not go off on a tangent. But I made it through the motorcycle accident. And as hard as that was nothing for what was about to occur in my life. I had gotten 4 months sober when my father died. During that 4 months, I got myself off of heroin after 21 years. I was eating nothing but healthy food. I was doing 100 push-ups a day. I was skateboarding every day, and I was living the healthiest life, swimming. And I lived in this complex that had 2 pools, and I was swimming in the pool every day. And for the first time in my life, I had the life that I wanted. And I was like, it's over. And then my father passed away, and he left behind the hugest hoarder mess that makes everything that I've ever seen on that show, Hoarders, look like nothing. Look like they were mentally stable compared to what my father left behind. And it is what it is. I made some videos, and someday I will post them, but I had never seen, I've been in, lived in abandoned buildings in New York City and, all over. And I'd never seen an abandoned building that was as horrific and just, oh God, like it breaks my heart to think my father suffered the way that he did in silence, in total silence. The man just suffered. But anyway, yeah, and then let me not throw family members under the bus, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? People just, they don't think about anybody but themselves, especially me. You know what I mean? When you are the strong one, all the weak ones just dump on you. They just dump on you. But I survived it. I survived it. I survived it. And now, you know what I mean? I am being slowly blessed for my faith in God. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing I can say in this lifetime. I recently was talking to my buddy's wife about an hour ago on, Messenger. And she said, my husband says all the time, I cannot believe that Matthew is still alive. That Matthew is still alive. God. Because no matter where I was at in life, locked up in Mexico twice, being fought like an animal in Mexico, surrounded by hundreds of men that wanted to kill me because of the color of my skin and because I hail from America, being locked up in MCSO, Sheriff Joe Arpaio's jail, being fought by the guards like an animal. You know what I mean? High-speed chases, dead twice, running all across American ghettos with a needle hanging out of my arm in extreme, excruciating pain. No matter how bad life got, the one thing that I never, ever, ever did was lose faith in God. Did I test God and did I beg God to take me over and over again? Yes, I did. But I never, ever, ever lost faith and denied the existence of God. And by the grace of God, I'm still alive. Grace and salvation and redemption is a very, very real thing. A very real thing. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. But I cannot wait until I meet my wife. That's why I've been saving myself. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like people here, like, I'm some sorry dude that couldn't be with a woman. No. I turned away several very good women, two of which who wanted me to impregnate them, just so I could undo the damage of my past and get what I want to get out of life and become, most importantly, become the man that Matthew, you know what I mean, always wanted to be. The man that I was as a child. Honor, integrity, morals, character, understanding, caring, compassion, all that. Decency, all that. And for the first time since I was a child, I can honestly say I am all about that shit. 110%. All about it. I used to sell poison to my fellow human beings. And now I would rather eat my own gun than ever go back and become that weak human being ever again. It is what it is. That's what it was. I was weak. I put my needs above the well-being of my fellow human beings because I didn't think I had a choice. But we've all been granted with free will, and we always got a choice. We always got a choice, and it's never too late. It's never too late to turn things around and turn away from wicked things to become the person that you want to be on this planet. I love y'all. Peace. To the women, shit. I can't wait. Peace.